Hey guys, welcome here. In this lecture we talk a little bit more about variables and I have introduced you debugging. Debugging is a very important concept that will help you understand code you are writing. So let's continue this lecture. We'll debug our code a little bit more and I will introduce you functions. Alright, let's go to our coding editors. Okay, so let's open our Visual Studio Code. Maybe I will make it smaller for now, and also this debug console, and we can clear it out a little bit. What do you think? Yeah, I think we can get rid of our console logs. We can just leave here first name and last name, all right? So let's leave here first name, last name, perfect. All right, of course you can leave your code if you want, but you can just comment it. If you want to comment your code, you can just select it and press Ctrl or a command and a backslash, and it will comment your code. All right, so we have here first name, last name. What I would like to do is to create function. All right, so let's create here a function. When you want to define function, you need to use a keyword function. So function keyword. And then you need to name your function. So let's say we'll call our function run app. Okay, because this function will run our application. And you should choose always very descriptive names for your functions that will describe the functionality of the function you are writing. Okay, so run application because this will be our main function that will run our application. Then you need to specify brackets like this. Opening brackets and a closing bracket where you can specify additionally or optionally parameters of a function. So you can input some data to your function and you can do some operations in this with this data. I'll show it to you later. Then let's write here space and a curly brackets. Again, opening and closing curly brackets for a body of the function. Okay, so we have here function keyword, name of your application, name of your function, normal brackets for optional parameters for a functions, and a curly brackets for a function body where you can write your JavaScript code. Okay, we have here function run application, and what we want to do here is to console log out just a hello or a welcome Filip Jerga. So go ahead, you can do it. So let's go ahead and let's write here console log and a hello Filip Jerga, and please let's provide to console log first name and last name. All right, so now let's write here console.log. Let's write here normal quotes, and let's write here hello and my name. So hello space plus, and this will be first name plus space. All right, and a plus, and this will be my last name. Amazing. Let's write here a semicolon. Perfect, and that's it. Let's run our code now. Okay, so let's go to our terminals. All right, you can clear your terminal here. We have something. And let's run here now node app.js. So node space app.js. Let's run this and you will see actually nothing will happen, and that's all right because let's take a look first on our application. What's happening here, we are declaring here first name variable, last name variable, we are assigning values to them, and then we are declaring function run app. But this is just a declaration where when you want to execute functionality, your code inside of a function, so you want to execute code inside of these curly brackets, you need to execute your function. And you will execute function like this. You will reference your function name, so run app. And now you need to provide here colons, not colons, but brackets. I'm sorry, just a bracket here, and this will execute your function. When you will write it without brackets, this will just output your function. So you can see it. Let's go to our terminals. Let's execute here node app.js. Actually, okay, we can see nothing. We need to wrap it in a console log. All right, then you want to see what is the function run app like this. All right, let's go back to our terminals. Let's run here node app.js. You will see run app is function. All right, oops. not the sublime. Let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. What we want to do here is execute a function called run up. We defined up here, so simply let's call here run up, semicolon, and now this should execute your function here, this functionality inside. So let's go back to our terminals. Let's run this node app.js, and you can see here, hello, Filip Bjerga. Let's take a look on this more closely. Let's open our Visual Studio Code. Let's open our debugger here, and let's run this. So let's click here, debug and run, and let's debug our code. So make sure you have a breakpoint somewhere here. So let's say on the first name, on line number 5. Let's execute this, and let's see this. Okay, so we are assigning values. And now we are just about to call a run up function. You can see here now we have here in our local context also run up function we are going to execute. All right, so let's just click here, step over, and this will execute our function. You can see here, hello, Filip Bjerga. And now when I will click one more time, step over, our program, our application is terminated. But we can see here, hello, Filip Bjerga. If you want to go and you want to see execution of your function, you need to do following. Let's click here debugging again. All right, let's continue. So you can see as your program is running. So now we are assigning here our values to variables. Okay, we are on line 5, 6, line 7, 8 is empty. So we are jumping here. We are declaring our function. All right, and now when you want to get inside of your function, so you want to see how your function is executed, you just need to click here, this arrow pointing down, so step into. Let's click this and you will get into your function. You can see here now your local context change. You have here access to this context, which is our global context. Don't worry about it right now. And also you can see here closure. Closure is everything defined here outside of your run app. Okay? But inside of our local context, we don't have here anything because we are not declaring here any variables inside of our run app function. When I will click here this arrow to step over, so I'm stepping on the next line, you can see we are calling here hello, Filip Bjerga. All right, that's perfect. And then when I will click here step over, as this is the last line of my function, this will step out of the function. This function is finished. There is nothing more to execute inside of the function, so we'll step back outside of this function run up. Okay, maybe we can see here also call stack. So I will open here, you can see here on the left side call stack, and you can see here we called here run up function. You can see here we have currently we are inside of the run up function. But when I will step over here, this will get me outside of the function. So in a call stack, I don't have here run up function anymore, but I will be talking about the call stack in the next lecture, so don't worry about it right now. All right, perfect. So we executed function run up. We called here console log hello first name plus last name. Amazing. And we can see it here, hello Filip Bjerga. All right, let's stop this and let's define these variables inside of your run up function. In usual cases, you don't want to expose your variables to a global context. So I'll remove this comment of variables. We'll redeclare them here. So I'll copy them and remove them, and let's define them inside of our run up function. All right, and we can define them as a const. All right, so const here, perfect. So we cannot change them later. Perfect, let's take a look on this now. So we'll debug it again. I will write breakpoint here on line number 10. Let's click here a green arrow. We want to step into run up, so we'll click this arrow pointing down. We are jumping into the run up. We are assigning value Filip to a first name, value Bjerga to a last name variable, and now we want to console log them out. You can see here there is no closure anymore, but only local context, and you can see in a local context, currently I am in my run up function, so I am in a context of a run up function. I have here first name, last name, and a global context. And you can see in a call stack, I'm currently executing run up function. When I will console log this out, I am stepping on the last line of a function. I'm stepping over, and our function is executed. So we are returning back to run up, because here we were on the line number 10. The executed function, we get inside of our run up function, so we need to execute everything into the run up function. When the run up function is finished, we are stepping outside of the run up function, and we want to execute code, what is the next? But next is nothing, so we are terminating our application. Then I will define here some other lines, so console log outside of function. All right, you will see it now. Let's click here again, green arrow, oops, 2s here, so console log here, let's click here, green arrow, and don't forget breakpoint here. Okay, so one more time, green arrow here, we are on the line number 10. We want to execute this function, so let's step into, so you'll see execution, or you can just step over, this will execute this automatically for you. All right, but when you want to see how it's executed, step into function, then you can see now we are currently executing an up function. You can see in a call stack, we are stepping over this line, we are consoling logout, function is terminated, this last line. When I'm stepping over, I'm returning back when I started, because I executed function, but the function was executed and it's finished, so I'm continuing on line 12, and so on. If there will be some more lines, I will be continuing until end of my program, until end of my last line. Okay, so I will console log here outside of the function, and that's it. All right, so now we have a nicely encapsulated functionality of our run app. We are declaring here our first name and last name. That's perfect. And let's continue. And let's see what we need to do if I would like to console log here second first name and second last name. So let's say I will have a second person, all right? So let's write here const and first name, let's say first name 2. And this will be, let's say, John. And don't forget semicolon here, and a const last name 2, and this will be green. All right, and I will console log here again, first name 2 plus last name 2. I think this is slightly repetitive, and you can see a problem here. Okay, so I need to write the same thing twice. I need to write the same console logs twice here, and this is against the rules of reusability. When I will execute a run up, you will see everything is working. Assigning values, console log out to console logs, hello Philip Virga, hello John Green. As you can see, we have here repetition, and if you see repetitive behavior of your application, you can encapsulate functionality into a separate function. So, what we can do, we can separate our console log into a function. So let's say up here, under these variables, I will define a function. I'll define here a function, and I will call this function, let's say I can call this function greet person, or say hello, or something like this. So say hello. All right, so I'm declaring normal function. You can see here is just a function with the name of a say hello, with no parameters here. Here is an empty body of the function. But what we want to do here, we want to execute here console log hello first name plus last name. Of course, now I will get here when we'll execute here say hello. So let's say here say hello. And if we want to execute this will execute the say hello. So this will console log hello first name Philip plus Virga. But what we would like to do here is to create here a second say hello that will execute my John Green names. Okay, so that will display my John Green hello John Green. So as I told you, we can specify parameters into these brackets here, into these normal brackets of a function. So let's say I can specify here parameters, let's say first name, or I can call it fname for a first name, and I can specify here last name. This will be called last name, and you can call it as you want. Okay, so say hello first name, last name. We are expecting to receive here some values. All right, so I will display here hello fname and lname here. Now, in a say hello, I can specify values for a say hello function. Okay, so you can see here in a say hello, I'm expecting to receive fname and the last name. So we need to provide the values for these functions. So let's provide here our first name, and let's provide your last name. All right, now I can say hello here, and let's say hello here of our first name too. Oops, first name too, and last name too. Perfect. Now I can say hello. Let's say I don't need to define here our values from variables. I can just say here hello, say hello, let's say Martha. All right, and last name will be Martha Doppler. All right, so let's take a look on this now. So I will leave a breakpoint on the run up. I will execute this. Okay, so we are just about to execute the function run up. I will step into, and let's go one line after another. So we are declaring values to first name, last name, values to first name 2, last name 2. We are declaring here say hello function. I now want to execute say hello function with the first name, which is a Philip, because these are variable that's holding value Philip, and say hello with the function with the value last name of a Jerga. Now when I will step into this function, so let's click here, step into, I will get inside of a say hello function, and now you can see here my local context of my say hello function. So I have here f name and the last name. Okay, you can see here these variables are holding first name and the last name I defined here, and I'm passing from outside of here. So I'm getting inside of my function, I get here my values of a Philip, Jerga, and I'm consoling log out hello, f name, last name. And now you can see here call stack also. You can see here at first I called run up. I was executing run up, and instead of the run up I execute say hello. Okay, so when I will continue now, I will click here, step over, I will console log here hello Philip Jerga. I will step over here, and I'm outside of the function because that was the last line. You can see here our say hello call stack function, and the function say hello was kicked out from a call stack because we are not executing it anymore. Now we are calling again say hello, but now we are passing different values to a say hello. Now we are passing here first name 2 and last name 2, which is a John Green, and the same thing will happen. I will step into this function. I will get here function values of a John and a Green. Our say hello call stack was executed, or say hello function execution context was added to a call stack. Now we are consoling log out this first name, last name of a John Green. You can see it here. Now we are stepping out. Say hello was kicked out of a call stack, and now we are going to execute again say hello, where we are providing raw string values of a Martha Doppler, which are just string values not coming from a variables. So now I can step inside of here again, first name Martha, last name Doppler, and consoling log out. We are executing last line, so we are getting outside of this function. All right, there is no other function, other line in a function run up. When I will click step over, I'm getting outside, and you can see here also a run up call stack. Our run up function context was kicked out of a call stack. All right, and then our program is terminated, and that's basically it. And of course, you can define the parameter names as you want. I can call it dog, I can call it cat, and now as a programmer, I know what this function should do. So I know the dog should be some name, all right, and a cat should be last name. And now I know when I want to execute these functions, I want to say hello here, I need to pass here values of a first name and last name. But when I'm executing my say hello functions, these values will be assigned to a different variables, right? To different parameters here. Okay, but of course, when you are a programmer and you know that you want to call your function say hello, you can expect here to first name and the last name. So of course, this will work, but these variables names, these parameter names are not very good. So when I will execute here and up, everything will work as you will see as before. I will call here a say hello function with the passing here Philip, Jerga, getting inside, and now dog is a Philip, cat is a Jerga, and I want to say here hello plus dog, which is holding Philip value, plus cat, which is holding Jerga value, and it will give me same result. So when I will click here continue, by the way, continue, when you click this will continue your program execution as it would normally do. So when I will click this should continue execution, and program should be terminated. So you can see here hello Philip Jerga, hello John Green, hello Martha Doppler, everything is here. All right, so of course we want to call it f name for a first name, and here we want to call it l name for a last name, and that's what we want to display here. Hello first name, hello plus last name. All right, guys, so that should be it. Again, a very long lecture. We created function, and inside of the function we created another function. In the next lecture, I would like to talk more about the call stack, and I would like to talk more about execution context. So guys, that should be it from this lecture, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.